We don't want easy. We want France to do well. We're cheering for the United States and France because when we get to the knockout round, we're giving them an uppercut. Don't listen to them.
We're rooting for Korea. Okay.
Rooting for Korea.
Time for us to go viral. Steph Curry had one of the best performances of his career in Game 3. However, this is his first finals appearance without LeBron. He was asked about that on a Jimmy Kimmel Live segment. Take a listen.
You know, you're back, I'm back. Guess who's not back?
Who's not back?
LeBron James.
LeBron's not back?
So I want you to sign this card for me. I wish you were here. So I want you to, can you sign a card for me? I give it to him, here.
You gonna give it to him?
Yeah, we're best friends.
I'm gonna sign it for him to say, save me a cigar later.
All right, thank you, man. Okay. Good luck, man. Do you miss the guy?
Me? No.
You need a bigger card. You only got, I don't think everyone's gonna fit in here.
No, they will.
His card's as small as you.
What do you think he's doing right now?
I think, I saw him on the internet. I think it was Taco Tuesday the other day or something. I don't know.
Taco Tuesday?
Yeah.
I love tacos.
Me too, man.
Not just Taco Tuesday, but Taco Tuesday.
That is what LeBron did on his Instagram. Now, he got a little criticized for that, probably fairly. But Jenna was
Now, thanks for mentioning that to everybody. I was being LeBron.
You were being LeBron. That's why I mentioned that, of course. Now, it should be mentioned, our friend, cousin Sal, from Lock It In on FS1.
Yeah.
He's a big part of Jimmy Kimmel Live, some of the brain trust behind Jimmy Kimmel Live. That's a really good show, and that guy does a great job. That's good.
Good stuff.
That's good. I don't think they miss LeBron in the finals, though. I think they're very happy he's not there.
Time for your AT&T wake-up call. Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz will be in Philadelphia for a while. The team showed their faith in the oft-injured Wentz, signing him to a 4-year, $128 million extension with nearly $108 million guaranteed. CC, you surprised with all that guaranteed money, given Wentz's injury history?
Not surprised at the amount of money, surprised at the timing. I thought they might wait a little bit. He's still got 2 years left. But Howie Roseman, one of the better front offices we see in the NFL, always trying to win. And they get a little cap relief if they can take a couple of those years, move them up to begin that contract next.
And so that's one of the reasons you do it early. You can spread this money over 6 years instead of waiting another year and spread it over just 5. If during this contract, Carson Wentz plays 86 of the 96 regular season games you could over a 6-year stretch, the Eagles will be thrilled, and he will be well worth the money.
Okay.
If he suffers another injury that knocks him out for the most critical part of the season, that's, to me, the only way this contract blows up in their face if he can't get over the injury bug that's bitten him now 4 straight seasons in some capacity.
All right, let's move on to the NBA now. Kyrie Irving is reportedly serious about joining the Brooklyn Nets this summer. And after trading away Allen Crabbe yesterday, Brooklyn can now create 2 max salary spots. Nick, we think Kyrie ends up in Brooklyn?
All signs are pointing to it now.
Yes.
Before this, the NBA rumor mill said Kyrie was leaning towards Brooklyn. Now Brooklyn, who finally was out of the pick hell of not having their own draft picks from that Boston trade. They finally got their draft picks back. No, we'll trade them away because they want to go for it right now, believing they can get Kyrie, maybe believing they can get someone to come with Kyrie, and if not, keep D'Angelo Russell with Kyrie. The Nets clearly think they've got Kyrie Irving all but locked up.
Yeah, there's a number of rumors going around about NBA free agents. This is one that you should believe. There's a lot of meat to this story, and not only is Kyrie more likely to sign with Brooklyn, you can believe behind the scenes, the word is Kyrie is trying to talk Kevin Durant leaving Golden State and coming to Brooklyn with that second max contract.
So we could have, Kyrie's trying to get the KD-Kyrie combo that we've been talking about all year in New York City.
Yes,
just
but in Brooklyn.
Not right, just in a different borough of New York City.
I don't believe KD's going to go for that. He wants to be in the big city of New York.
CC, we're going to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
That's too. To tonight's game now, Klay Thompson will be in the lineup after missing Game 3 with a hamstring injury. I keep falling into that trap. Same one. Warriors trying to even the series at 2 games apiece. See, what do you expect from Klay tonight?
I don't expect him to be at 100%. I expect him to be hampered on the offensive end, especially on the defensive end. I want to see him. I want to see him burst down the court. I want to see also what is the strategy for Toronto. Do they play right up in his hip pocket on his right side and run him off the three-point line to put pressure on that hamstring? And I want to see if he can be able to elevate on his jump shot. If he can't get elevation on his jump shot, I believe it will affect him. I don't believe he's going to be able to play the typical 36 to 40 minutes that Klay's going to play.
23 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists on right around 50% shooting. I think offensively, we're going to have a pretty typical Klay Thompson game. I think they will find a way to scheme him open. How much of an impact can he have defensively? And is he so hampered by that hamstring that it becomes a defensive liability to where he can't play 30-plus minutes? If that's the case, Warriors be in a similar position they were in Game 3, which is very tough for them to find a way to win. I don't think that'll be the case. I think Klay will be a big part of a big Warriors win tonight.
And look for them to try to get him started quick like they did in Game number 2.
All right, well, while Klay is back, Kevin Durant, who missed the last 8 games, will not play in Game 4. Steve Kerr said there's a good chance, though, he might play in Game 5 or even Game 6. Klay Thompson spoke on what it would mean if KD were to miss the finals entirely.
Well, it would suck if Kevin can't come back. I mean, I still think we'd have a good chance to win the finals, but obviously that takes a huge hit. I don't think it would make us the clear-cut favorite anymore without him. You know, this team's very good.
So, Nick, who is the favorite in the series if KD doesn't return at all?
I picked the Warriors assuming KD wasn't going to play, so I'm not going to change my... Yeah, I said that I thought the Warriors could win even if KD never steps on the court. And by the way, people need to start recognizing the very real possibility KD never steps on the court. They're now talking about Game 5. You know why they're talking about Game 5? Because it's the closest game he hasn't been officially ruled out for. Just like they were talking about Game 4 and Game 3. And they keep pushing the goalpost just 1 yard out. And then when they get there, they push it another yard out. Steve Kerr said before Game 3, he's going to scrimmage tomorrow. He then yesterday, which was tomorrow, kind of a little time travel, had to come back and say, I misspoke, apologies, we didn't do a full scrimmage. Now they're going to have a weekend where one day they practice, one day they take a cross-country flight, or international flight, but cross-country. KD's going to play in Game 5? I don't think he is. Now, do I think the Warriors can win without him? I do. I think they've demonstrated that throughout these NBA playoffs, that they can win without one of their 3 super-duper stars, but not without 2 of their super-duper stars. But the other element that I find interesting to see is something we talked about earlier, which is you mentioned the people close to KD. You wonder if some of them are telling him to take it easy. And Draymond had a very interesting quote that I don't want to read too much into, but the quote was, Kevin Durant at 75% is better than a lot of people. And to me, that quote's saying, man, Draymond wondering, if you are 75%, you could help. And so nobody knows what KD's calf is feeling, and I think KD desperately wants to get out there. He doesn't want them to lose, and he doesn't want them to win without him. So he wants to get out there, but he has a lot of things pushing and pulling on him that aren't just fibers in his calf.
Yeah, the number one thing that's pulling on him is his body. The reason why they ruled him out of game number 4 is because he's not capable of playing an NBA basketball game, let alone even try to get on the court and participate in 3-on-3. The injury is a lot worse than they ever anticipated, and part of the reasoning is KD's going to try to come back, and the greatest athletes, they're in the greatest shape, they have the fastest recovery. But the reality is, it's been over 4 weeks now since he strained that calf, and you can listen to Klay in his soundbite. You know what he said? Well, what if KD doesn't come back? He immediately, his whole disposition changed. Wow, that wouldn't be good. Like, I don't think we would be the favorite. Steve Kerr and the organization, they might realize that this team might be let down if we announce that KD's out. Like, he'll never come back. So let's just keep trying to extend this. Oh, man, he's going to go on the road with us. Remember game number 1 and 2?
Yeah.
You're like, Chris, does that mean he's closer or further away? I said, that's got to mean he's closer. He's traveling with the team. He's with the training staff. He's continuing to get treatment. They're giving us these little shots of him on the court in footies, not in his regular KD basketball shoes. Like, he's a long ways from playing. I wouldn't be surprised if we did not see him in game number 5.
So who do you think has the edge if he doesn't return?
Toronto has the edge. That's the reason why we picked him. We didn't think KD was going to be back. We've played 12 quarters of basketball. They have outscored Golden State in 10 of those. Only ones they didn't, Game 1, Game 2, and quarter number 3. They have outplayed the Warriors, and KD is not even practicing. Klay missed some time out with an injury. Now he's trying to come back. Yes, they're healthier. They have the home court advantage. Like, they have proven this throughout the season.
And it's hard for me to believe that this could be true, but I must acknowledge it could be true. I could end up being wrong that the Warriors are going to win tonight. You could end up being right that the Raptors are going to win tonight. And if that's the case, the Warriors are facing elimination in Game 5. And that's the earliest you could see Kevin Durant, and he wouldn't be 100%. The next time Kevin Durant takes the court, there's a better than 50% chance the Warriors' season's on the line. If it's Game 6, they would have to win both of these games in order for it not to be. If it's Game 7, obviously. So those are the circumstances in which Kevin Durant, if he returns, will be returning in the biggest game of the season for Golden State.
And that's why earlier you talked about the circumstances for which Golden State, in which they face. Imagine Toronto tonight, Nick Nurse saying, you know something, guys? I don't know if KD going to play. But we win tonight's game, we're going to force him on the court.
Yeah.
Because if they lose tonight, KD, it's one game, all or nothing. And I believe he would try to play in that. Golden State wins tonight. It gives him a little more time.
At least another game where their season's not on the line.
Yes.
Right. All right, let's move on to the controversy from Game 3. The Raptors won, but Kyle Lowry was involved in an incident on the sideline with a fan who we now know was Warriors investor Mark Stevens. Stevens shoved Lowry when he ended up in the crowd diving for a ball. There were some repeated expletives thrown his way. The NBA has banned Stevens for 1 season and fined him $500,000 as a result. Before the ban was announced, Lowry talked to the media.
In that situation, I don't think I could have handled it any better. I'm glad I did what I did, and understanding that, things could have been a lot different if I reacted a different way, or if I did something, or put my hands on them, or did anything in that nature. But the support I've gotten from fellow players, the league, has been unbelievable. With that being said, I think more should be done. I don't think he's not a good look for the ownership group that they have, and I know Joe Lacob. Those guys are great guys. The ownership that they have, that I know, they're unbelievable guys. But a guy like that showing his true class, and he shouldn't be a part of our league. There's just no place for that.
See, what was your reaction when you saw this?
Well, I think that at least he should be suspended. I believe they should take his ownership away or force him to sell the team. In that unprovoked situation, as a minority owner of an NBA team, you're in the NBA Finals, the biggest stage for the business that you're in. You're a 2-time defending NBA champion. I mean, how many playoff games have they played in, Nick, this 5-year run? How many playoff games?
Tonight will be 103, so they've played 102 playoff games.
This is what they do. Like the leaves change in the fall, this is what the Warriors do. And for this guy, as Lowry said, part of a great ownership group. Man, we talk about them up and down, what they do for the players, the environment they've created. Like, we have never had anything negative to say about the ownership, the general manager, Steve Kerr. Like, they do things, like, they're great on the court, but there's a reason why.
Yep.
They got a plan that comes from the front office, and they have been first class. They have to remove the ownership from him, because this does not make any sense for an owner to go out of his way to push, or to eat. A lot of people might say throw a punch or something at a player.
He certainly shoved him. At the very least, he shoved him.
And for no reason. Another thing that upset me besides the shove was, why did he have to respond to him in a profane way?
Like, what?
Yeah, what was the meaning for that? To me, as an owner, and this is what we always say, that as you go from players to coaches to ownership, the responsibility goes up. It does not go down. Of
course.
And in this, not make an example, but there should be a clear-cut rule. If you're going to be associated with the NBA, like, we are not going to tolerate this. And I believe he should be banned from his ownership and not be able to participate in the NBA, Nick.
So I had a bunch of reactions. One, anyone. I'm glad to have Kyle Lowry, though. One of the most mature and best people we have in this league, because there's a lot of really good guys who would have responded a lot worse than Kyle Lowry. And there's a lot of edge guys that would have responded a hell of a lot worse than Kyle Lowry. Man, you are at the height of competition. Your adrenaline is firing. This guy's just watching the game. And some stranger, some other grown man shoves you, it would not have been out of line at all. And if you watch it, there's a woman between he and the guy. If Lowry responds the way a lot of people would have, which is to shove him back, this could have been ugly. Right. I also feel badly for Lowry, though, because he had a